So it's the 23rd day of April, and my name's Bill, infowarrior 84 on YouTube. I was trying to make longer videos, and what happened was YouTube thought my videos were too long, and unfortunately it ended up being kind of a waste of time for me. But here I am making a shorter video. Evidently you're supposed to have them within a 15-minute time frame, unless you're putting commercials into them, which I may think about doing. But I suppose I could make a quick, much smaller video than I had originally made before, that I was going to put on, and obviously covering much less topics. And at this rate, there's a lot more recent events that are just worthy of talking about and getting out there and making people aware of than the older ones that I had covered that never got out there. So here I go. Well, I have seen literally, and if you can look this up for yourself, on many different sources to this, InfoWars, I believe, Washington Post, Georgia Report, many different places. You can look it up, Google it. DHS bought 450 million rounds of ammunition, and now one would say, well, what is DHS, Department of Human Services, buying 450 rounds of ammunition for, let alone 40 caliber hollow points? And it turns out, you can't use these munitions bought in this country in war, because it goes against the Geneva Convention, Geneva Code, whatever you prefer to call it. And therefore it makes one think that maybe these things were purchased for the purpose of keeping us in control, due to all these weather events lately and solar flares and just the wars, and them trying to hide the fact that the economy is in rough shape. They say it's getting better and better all the time, and it's not. It appears that it's stable, but that's only because they make it so, and they use these things like QE3, different things they've been talking about lately, in regards to slowing down inflation, which is obviously taken off. If you're a grocery shopper, you can see it in every store. Prices have gone up. Never mind the last year. In the last 3 months, they've gone up a lot. It's getting unbearable out there. Cost of living is outrageous. And on top of that, you get the devaluation of the dollar that they hate to even talk about. They dance around telling you that the devaluation of the dollar is here, and a lot of experts say that by the end of the year, what they're trying to conceal is that this dollar thing could be so devalued it could be dead, almost, or maybe it will be. I hope not, in any case, but keeping a close eye on it, and it looks like these things appear to be so. You get the Chinese and the Japanese that are trading with each other, not allowing American currency to be used, which is the world reserve currency, which helps devalue the dollar and depreciate it to the point where, obviously if other people aren't using it, what do you think is going to happen? We get the inflation going up, we get the value of the dollar going down, and it's a recipe for disaster. We put sanctions on Iran. The next thing you know, we get India and them wanting to trade gold and silver to Iran for oil, and that obviously doesn't help, because it's basically like the sanctions never took place. But when it comes to the economy, I think the illusion that it's getting better, in some people's eyes, is just hideously ignorant compared to the enormous amount of fact and evidence showing that the economy is not getting better, and inflation is just going to go through the roof, even more so than it already has, and that devaluation of the dollar is rapidly happening as we speak. when it comes down to it, they're obviously going to keep this away from us for civil unrest purposes, but we need to keep our eyes open, and people need to get prepared in the event this does happen. Of course, they have limited resources. They're not going to tell us anything. It's going to happen. People are going to be taken by surprise. Um, there'll be chaos. And maybe that's why they bought these bullets, civil unrest. They got to keep people in control. They have the FEMA camps activating. Um, There's funding for things are out the window. And they tell you that, all the jobs market's getting better. It's like 9.3%. It's really closer to 15%, which is quite a chunk of people. And so again, don't be fooled. The economy isn't much better than it was. Matter of fact, if anything, it's probably worse by now. If you really look things up, pay close attention. It's unsustainable when we could tax 100% of people's income and still not pay off the interest yearly to the debt. We have a massive problem. Throws up a red flag. It's telling everybody, if you just look, that this is coming down, and unfortunately, no one's paying any attention to it at all. And so what I'm saying is get out there, wake up people, make yourself aware, get seeds, maybe storable food, um, put water aside, medications. Never hurts to be prepared in the event something happens anyway. Moving on to the next thing. Well, I only got about close to 7 minutes to talk because of YouTube. Thank you very much. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Trayvon Martin thing. It's very unfortunate that this young man died, and any death should be taken seriously. However, I think that the media played games with this story. If you see it, it got a lot of hype in the beginning. It's now died, especially now that the hearing took place, because the facts come out. The facts show that Mr. Zimmerman was protecting himself at the time the gun was fired, and it was fired once. I don't know of anybody that would basically call the police and then go and shoot someone knowing that the police were on their way. Although it was not right for him to follow the young man, it was also, you got to look at it in the aspect that the young man evidently did pound his head into the ground. There are pictures showing that his head was bleeding in several spots, and that shows that he was thought his life was in danger, and that that's why he fired that weapon. So when you look at the situation as a whole, you see basically two mistakes turning out to be one giant mistake, and that led to someone's death, and that is very unfortunate. I don't know, maybe they can get a manslaughter on this, but reaching out for a second-degree murder is just completely reaching on this. And it's like meat for the media. They threw it out there, and we ate it up, and that's very dangerous. I mean, if the American public can sit there and eat a story like that up without knowing the facts, create lynch mobs, almost a race war, almost civil unrest over this, and not let the justice system do the work. It's innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. Then we get big problems. When we start listening to the media, that shows you right there. We rely too much on the media, and that is extremely dangerous, because if we're going to listen to them, and obviously looks to be that we're wrong on this, especially if the media told us one thing and we believed it. And I can't say that I believed it, because I always thought there was something wrong with the story. But if we can do that, then we're gullible. We're like sitting ducks. It's like Simon says, and this is dangerous. In this point in time, it is too, with all the happenings going on around the world, wars. We have natural happenings such as tornadoes, giant storms, snow. You get solar flares. We get the potential for a very eventful year. We're going to see how it plays out, obviously. I expect it to be very eventful. I just hope people wake up, start joining groups, get acquainted with each other, um, going against um, the media and what we're being fed, and fighting even at a small level, even if it's nothing big. Small things count too. Um, Things like I'm fighting fluoride in the water in the state of New Hampshire. We're being force poisoned. Some people call force medicated. Um, Fluoride in no way, shape, or form is good for you, and it should not be in any drinking water. However, um, if you do go out there, look up websites. You got Infowars, you got communities on Facebook. You can join, like Wake Up America, and Infowars.com is a good source of information. The Drudge Report, Washington Post occasionally, with the Drudge Report, has many interesting stories on it. Um, and Alex Jones' radio show, I can't tell you um, just how informative that man is. He's so passionate about trying to overcome the New World Order, and about his people, even the ones that aren't awake, that need to wake up. We can't be zombies, people. I tell you, watch his show. He's a very passionate person, and he does it because he loves freedom. He loves his country. He does love people, and he wants his country back, as do I. And the way to do that is be the resistance. Now watch his show. He shows people, and people attack him all the time. Oh yeah, where does he get this information? Well, he actually, if you take time to stop bashing people like us for a while, in particular with Alex Jones, he shows you where to get the information um, that about the stories he's talking about. Now, people will say, well, he's like one of those tinfoil hat wearing people, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Just saying. So basically, what he does is he gives you the information about these stories to not only warn us, but so that we can go out there and look this up for ourselves, and know that he's not just pulling this out of a hat. He's actually doing this for people's own good if they choose to listen. If they don't, well, then that's their own issue. Either way, the message we're sending is wake up, and I will be on with more um, current events and important information uh, on many topics in the coming days. Uh, Hopefully, YouTube will allow me to have more time, because it's just not enough time in 15 minutes to talk about everything you want to talk about. But people like me do this because we want people to be aware and wake up, and we love freedom. Um, so look for me again. My name is Bill. I'm infowarrior84 on YouTube, and I will be bringing you more news events, current events, things that people need to be aware of, and I'll try my darndest also to bring you the facts and the information so you can look it up yourself. I thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, suggestions, or things that you would like me to check into, um, I'm always up for that. I'd love to check it out. So thank you, and talk to you again next time.